NFL free agency saw many players find new homes and land big-time deals. However, some players still remain unsigned, while other signings went under the radar. Today, I'm here with Josh Toback and Evan Abenstein to discuss some of the most noteworthy transactions from free agency. So, Evan, which under-the-radar value free agent signing was the most impactful this coming season?
I'm going to go with Allen Robinson to the Browns. Allen Robinson was one of the top receivers in the market, if not the top receiver in free agency this year. He just tore his ACL this year, but he was one of the top receivers just a couple years ago with Blake Bortles throwing him the ball. He scored 14 touchdowns.
Why do you sound so disgusted with Blake Bortles? Here's the thing. When Allen Robinson went to the Bears actually, Mitchell Trubisky's a good quarterback in a very bad system. And the Bears were lacking receivers. They added two pretty good ones. So Allen Robinson is a great signing for them. But here's the thing about him. Blake Bortles had more receiving yards than him all of last year because he got hurt.
Who would you pick for?
Who would I?
Who will be the most impactful?
I think Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, went to the Houston Texans. Very under the radar, very shocking for his kind of player. One of the best safeties in the league.
I wouldn't say he's one of the best safeties in the league anymore. He
hasn't had any major injuries.
He hasn't had any major injuries. His ACL is a very minor injury.
Here's the thing. I'm saying that he hasn't had a major injury compared to other safeties.
How is tearing his ACL not a major injury?
I'm saying any career-threatening ones compared to other ones.
Well, he hasn't been the same since he was an all-pro selection.
Player, I could argue.
He was an all-pro selection in 2015, and then he tore his ACL. Hold on. He tore his ACL afterwards, and since then his passing rating has been 130 and 91 compared to 70 in 2015.
Well. Is Richard Sherman's self-negotiated contract with the Niners a good thing or a bad thing for Sherman?
Speaking of cornerbacks who just came off bad injuries, Richard Sherman is a cornerback, which is a much more physically demanding position than safety, I could argue, because you have to be on your target all the time. This is a very volatile position, and coming off that bad of an injury this late in his career, this is a great signing for Sherman. Specifically for Sherman, because
he's still one of the top cornerbacks in the league.
But we don't know that. We don't know how his injury is going to hold up. We just mentioned that. Here's the thing about Sherman. This is a good sign. This is a good signing for him. We're not sure about the 49ers yet.
Okay, this is not a good signing for him because he was his own agent. Abraham Lincoln, our 16th president, once said, "He who represents himself has a fool for a client." So Richard Sherman spent 12 hours before negotiating this contract, studying about how to negotiate a contract.
Yeah,
I studied for a test for 12 hours, and I got a D on it. Doesn't mean he's a good agent.
Sherman,
for Richard Sherman, this is not good. This is all performance-based, and he's coming off a major injury like his Achilles injury. He has $7 million guaranteed. He has a $2 million base salary, and his salary increases. He has $9 million each year in incentives based on his performance. He needs to play games in order to get money. He needs to make the Pro Bowl.
Or a bad thing?
It's a bad thing for him. I think he should have taken the prove-it kind of contract. Take a 1 year,
This is a prove-it kind of contract, though. He's 29 years old,
but I'm saying if he's just taken a one-year contract, he could have gotten a longer, maybe 4-year, $50 million contract.
Well, it seems like this question's leaving us scratching our heads a little bit. But Evan, what was your most head-scratching signing of free agency?
I'm going to go with Sam Bradford. He's a hell of a player. I'm not saying that, but he just signed for $20 million, $15 million guaranteed.
What sample size are you taking that from?
He's been a really good quarterback.
In what scope? He has no track record to speak of. The Cardinals are just taking a gamble with him. Yes, he won Rookie of the Year in 2010.
That's why I'm saying it's a head-scratching move, because he has not been over 500. For his career, he's below 500. He's playing on a team that really is in a transitional era. They're not going to make the playoffs this year.
He did have highest completion.
They still have David Johnson.
He's a really good quarterback, but it's just not what they need right now. For that much money, they're going to probably draft a quarterback in the draft, either by moving up or maybe trying to get Lamar Jackson.
They could move in other positions. I'm going with Teddy Bridgewater for the Jets. Here's the thing. The Jets have a very high draft pick. They just traded up to number 3. Why do you think they did that? Teddy Bridgewater, this is a bad move not for the Jets per se, because Teddy Bridgewater unfortunately has kind of fallen into the backup role. This is a bad move for him.
But
there were so many quarterbacks.
He's been in a backup role for 1 year, and that's because he got hurt last year or the year.
But he's been hurt for multiple years.
But when he was healthy, he was a damn good quarterback.
Damn good. No,
And he's young still. He has
he wasn't
so
even
much
the best
potential.
quarterback of that draft class. And
He's
here's the thing,
but that's the thing. He's still so young. It's a low risk,
25,
high
yes.
potential move for them.
But why? But this is a bad move for him. He's going to sit behind Josh McCown and whoever they draft in
He
third
won't be
overall.
sitting behind Josh McCown
McCown's
for
proven
long.
that he can be a good quarterback for the Jets.
A
And maybe
decent
they
quarterback. He has
Here's
not
the thing.
been good.
He's still going to be a third string or even a second string. He's not starting. This is a bad move.
But the thing is, this gives him the opportunity to
Jets.
start throughout the season.
Bridgewater's a quarterback who could have been a franchise quarterback for Minnesota if they didn't jump for Kirk Cousins. A lot of people mentioned that Bridgewater should have still been the guy.
That's what I'm saying. So yes, he's starting as a backup right now. It might be bad for him to
You
start,
mentioned
but
Bradford's
this
a
is
good quarterback,
also
but Bridgewater's still unproven in my eyes.
Well, that's all we have from the gridiron, but don't go anywhere because we'll be right back to discuss some March Madness.